Now in Genesis 18, 32 and 33, then he said, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak but once more. He says, suppose 10 should be found there in Sodom. And the Lord says, okay, I won't destroy it for the sake of 10. So the Lord went on his way as soon as he had finished speaking with Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place. What do we see here? Here he's bargaining with God. Abraham becomes the first Jewish lawyer. The Torah portion begins with Abraham's hospitality, and now we see he is intervening on behalf of a group of people who are not necessarily his relatives, his ethnicity, his religion, yet he was still concerned for the people. Now, why do you think he went for 10? Why do you think he didn't go any lower? Any idea why he didn't go lower? How many were on the boat when Noah Noah was on the boat? How many were on the boat with Noah when God destroyed the whole world? 8. So Abraham already knew 8 wasn't good enough. So he went for 10. Now, how many were in Lot's family? How many were in Lot's family? How many, if Abraham is counting, he needs 10. How many on his fingers is he counting that's in Lot's family? Okay, there was Lot and his wife. There were his 2 married daughters with their 2 husbands and his 2 single daughters. So there was 8. So Abraham figured, I got 8, I only need 2. He knew 8 wasn't gonna work. That's why he was trying to get down as low as he could, but he knew 8 wasn't enough. And so in Genesis 19:1, the 2 angels came to Sodom in the evening. Lot was sitting in the gate. Now, what does it mean to sit in the gate? He's a judge. He's a leader. Now, how many of you know the world doesn't mind if the church claims to be the judge as long as they don't judge anything? And so many people in religious communities are great that they're religious leaders, but they're worthless because they don't come out and take a stand on the issues of the day. But the minute they do, oh, who are you? Here they acknowledge Lot sitting in the gate, but just don't judge us, even though you're a judge. Well, what's fascinating is Lot's name in Hebrew. Was Lot considered righteous? Yes. Is Abraham righteous? So what was the difference between Abraham and Lot? They both represent the church. Lot represents the church that's clueless and in the world. Abraham represents the church that's interceding and is communing with God on behalf of the church that's in Sodom, as well as all the Sodomites. Lot's name in Hebrew, the first letter is the Lamed that you'll be learning about as we go, and the Lamed can mean to learn or to teach. In ancient Hebrew, it was a shepherd's staff representing authority, like the teacher who has authority. And we know Lot sat in the gate. He has authority. Then comes the letter Vav, which is like a nail, and it's connecting that Lamed to something. The last letter, the T, is not the Tav, it's the Tet. And the Tet represents the serpent. So Lot represents giving his authority over to the serpent. That is the problem with many religious people today. Okay, and we see in Genesis 19:3, he insisted strongly, so they turned to him and entered his house, and they made a feast of what? Unleavened bread. Again, this tells you this is the time of Passover. All right? And they ate. So Lot wanted to be hospitable, but also he wanted them to get the heck out of there. And so in Genesis 19, verse 4, this is what I found so horrible. Here, before they even could lay down to sleep, look at this. The men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house around, both old and young. You got the little kids and the elderly ones, all the people from every quarter. And as Pastor Joe was saying, the big problem with Sodom was cruelty to strangers. They did not want to be hospitable at all. And then in Genesis 19, 14, and 15, Lot went out and he spoke to his son-in-laws. What are they doing there at the gate? Or at his door, I should say, who had married his daughters. And he's telling them, get up and get out of here, for the Lord is going to destroy this city. But here's what's amazing. How, if I were to come in here and go, fire, you go, he's joking. But if I really was serious and yelled fire, you knew I was serious. Lot did not really believe the Lord was going to destroy the city, which is why it says when he told him to get up and out of the place, because the Lord's going to destroy the city, to his sons-in-laws, he seemed to be joking. That's a big problem in our communication to the world. They need to take us seriously. And then it says, when morning had dawned, the angels urged Lot to hurry, saying, arise and take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, lest you're consumed in the punishment of this city. And then in Genesis 19:26, it says his wife looked back from behind him and she became a pillar of salt. Why do you think she looked behind her? Her other two daughters and son-in-laws are back there. She was turning to see if maybe they might have been running to her to escape. But guess what else? As many of you know, in the Bible, Yeshua, God, is always measure for measure. God is just, measure for measure. One of the things it also says, she got her just dessert. Because unlike her husband Lot, she hated strangers as well. And they say when she saw the 2 men come into the house, that she purposely went door to door asking everyone for salt for the 2 guests that had come to her house. And so here she's asking for salt, and so everyone now knew she had guests, and because she did that, she turned into a pillar of salt.